Hi guys!
So for today's How to Be Happy January video, I'm going to show you 3 easy, healthy, and packable meal ideas. These meals are, I think, great to bring to work or school, or even if you're just like bopping around town running errands and you just don't want to eat out. So I hope that these recipes can inspire you to play around with recipes and to plan ahead so that you can eat and continue to nourish your body even when you're really busy and you're on the go. Okay, so before I jump in, as usual, I actually want to address a couple comments from my last video, which was my fitness routine. Probably the number one comment / question that came up in that video was around the topic of yoga. A lot of you guys wondered why I do yoga considering that I am a Christian. That makes sense to me because yoga, to the best of my understanding, is a Hindu-based practice. Now, that being said, I wanted to clarify why I like yoga and my stance on that. Now, if you watched my last video, you heard me quote a coach that I used to work with, and she would say, eat the fish and spit out the bones, which basically means take what you want from something and leave the rest. Because I'm a Christian, I honestly don't pay that much attention to the Hindu aspect of it. I kind of see the classes as an amazing way to work out and soothe my body. And when they start to address spiritual aspects in the class, I kind of just do my own thing. While some people may hear namaste and take it as a spiritual, religious element, I take it as something positive and kind of adjust it to fit myself. If I remember correctly, namaste means something to the effect of, may the divine in me meet and honor the divine in you. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I just view it as I want to be the best me that I can possibly be so that I can encourage you to be the best you that you can be. I don't know, there are honestly just so many things in the world that I don't agree with because, like I said before, you will never fully agree with everything that anyone has to say. So I take my yoga practice and I make it my own. No one can make me believe something or think something. Also, complete side note, but I've actually only taken yoga from one studio, so I don't have very much to base my view of yoga on. Maybe other studios are super spiritual and there's more to like the general picture of yoga than what I'm being exposed to, but I would put my studio much more into the classification of just positive thinking, calm breathing, and thoughtful exercise. So that being said, if you still think yoga is bad or just not the exercise for you, that is okay. There are so many other forms of exercise that are equally as good for you, if not better, depending on your body type and interests. But for me, having had 2 surgeries on my knee and my hip and dealing with a genetic disorder that causes my joints to not want to stay in place, at least for right now, yoga has been incredible. It has made me feel stronger and leaner all around. So, all right, there we go. Another comment / question that I got from a lot of you was on the topic of podcasts and specifically what podcasts I personally listen to. While I'm not like that deep into like the podcast world, I tend to have like a few podcasts that I stick to. Bowser, is that you? Bowser's sticking his nose under the door. I tend to have a few podcasts that I stick to, and I will let you know what they are right now. 1, Rick Warren Daily Hope. I find myself listening to Rick Warren's podcast almost daily. Rick Warren is a pastor in Orange County, California, and he actually wrote a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. You might have heard of him through that book. It was like a international bestseller. I find Rick to be so encouraging in my faith, and he really helps me evaluate and think about my life. I find his podcast to be super insightful, and I just really enjoy them. So, number 2, Dr. Laura Schlesinger? I just call her Dr. Laura. Dr. Laura is a psychologist, therapist that has had a radio show for something crazy like 25 years. She was actually kicked off of the air due to controversy that I am not going to go into right now because I'm already drawing this intro out, but she now has podcasts and is on SiriusXM. I really like her for her no BS approach to advice. I think she gives super practical advice to her callers, and I just really love her show. It's kind of like listening to my grandma help and guide me and others through life. All right, number 3, Joyce Meyer. Joyce is a Christian speaker and author. She is like such a spunky lady, and she has had such a crazy life and a crazy upbringing, but she rose above it, and she's just really inspirational. When I'm feeling like I need a good kick in the butt, I turn to Joyce's podcasts. All right, number 4. So I know that this isn't spiritual and it's not even really a podcast, but this is something that I've gotten into recently. So I wanted to pass this along because I think it's super awesome. iTunes University is a free app on the iPhone that allows you to watch college classes from universities for free. Yes, you heard me correctly, for free. I'm currently taking the How to Start a Startup class at Stanford University, and it is amazing. I was literally walking around my apartment the other night, and I was cleaning things up, and I paused the lecture, and I turned to Dan, and I was like,
Dan, I am cleaning my apartment right now, and I am simultaneously taking a university class for free.
Like, just mind-blowing. So basically, if you're hungry to learn more and dive more into the things that you love, which you should be, and if you don't know what you love or have a desire to learn, you should explore that more and cultivate that side of your life, then you should definitely check out iTunes University. All right, so now that I talked for a century, I'm going to segue into more talking into today's video. I think that a huge part of happiness is preparing to be happy. By making choices that are going to positively affect you later, you are choosing to invest in your future and your happiness. Now, I talked about this in my last video, but taking care of your body and being healthy, which in my opinion affects your overall happiness levels, takes work. No one ever said it would be easy, and if they did, they were lying. When I talk about the importance of sleep and the importance of eating well, I am not trying to insinuate that it's going to be easy. I'm simply telling you that it is important. And it truly is a matter of how badly you want something, what your priorities are. You do have the ability to restructure your day to prioritize sleeping and eating well. All of the positive effects that we get from the choices that we make, those can happen through small choices. They don't have to be these epic changes. Just choose to pay attention to your time. Choose to not throw it away. Be conscious of when you are choosing to relax, when you are choosing to work out, choosing to spend time with the people that you love and build relationships. Life is about choice, and if you don't choose to be aware and choose how you are spending your time, you are missing out. Making choices and being aware is a part of happiness because it allows you to see the beauty in everyday life, the beauty in your choices, and the beauty that comes in small victories as you progress towards your goals. Choose the life that you want and do it by making progression and positivity a part of your lifestyle and not a short-lived resolution. Okay, for reals now.
Let's jump in.
Alright, so first things first, in case you are wondering, this is a Rubbermaid lunchbox, and the first recipe I'm going to start with is this Mediterranean wrap. Now, this is kind of a twist on a recipe that I saw the Pioneer woman do, and I kind of made it my own, and I'm obsessed. So I'm starting by heating up a brown rice tortilla in a pan, and I'm using brown rice because I can't have wheat. And then I'm going to make a nice little salad dressing just out of olive oil, balsamic vinaigrette, salt, and pepper. And I'm going to toss the dressing in some arugula in a little bowl like so. Then I'm going to move my greens to the side, and I'm going to slice up some tomatoes and cut those in half. And then I'm going to take some jarred artichoke hearts and cut those in half as well. These things are so good. I got them from Costco. And then I'm going to slice up a roasted bell pepper and dice up some spring onions. So then the hummus that I'm going to use on my wrap is a tomato and basil hummus, and this is from Trader Joe's. It's so good. You can obviously use any hummus you want. You can obviously change the recipe however you want in general, but yeah, I'm using this tomato basil hummus, and then I put a little bit of peppered turkey on the wrap. Then I'm taking the arugula that is dressed in that salad dressing, piling that on top, putting the artichokes in the wrap, the roasted bell peppers in the wrap, the sliced tomatoes in the wrap. Then I'm putting some pepperoncinis on top, adding my spring onions, some feta cheese, and then I'm taking some of this chunky Mediterranean sea salt and just kind of, I was going to say drizzling, even though that's not the right word, putting some salt on top, and then I'm going to wrap my wrap up like so, slice it in half, and then I've got this beautiful, delicious Mediterranean wrap. Now, on the side, I just tried these Vans cheese crackers. They're kind of like Cheez-Its. And then I threw some blueberries on the side as well. Actually, those are blackberries, just kidding. And you have a meal. All right, moving on to the next meal. sun-dried tomato pesto pasta salad. That actually took effort to say. So here we go. I'm going to start out with some organic brown rice quinoa fusilli pasta, I guess that's how you say it. And I'm going to bring some water to a boil in a pot, add a little bit of salt, and then once the water is boiling, cook my pasta noodles. Gluten-free pasta is not hard to cook if you follow the directions, but you have to follow the directions and you can't treat it like normal pasta. So one of the things you have to do with gluten-free pasta for the most part is rinse it with cold water. So I did that, and then I scooped about a tablespoon of Greek yogurt into the pasta, a tablespoon of pesto, I crushed a garlic clove into the mix, and then I pulled out my handy-dandy artichoke hearts from Costco, chopped those up into smaller pieces, took some Trader Joe's sun-dried tomatoes, chopped those up into smaller pieces, added those to the pasta as well, and then I used some salt and some pepper into the mix to bring the flavors out, and then I tossed the salad together like so. So it's pretty easy. You could also add some cheese in at the end if you want. That would make it really good. And package that up. And I would probably bring a little salad on the side as well. So speaking of salad, this is the apple, walnut, and goat cheese salad. And these are all the ingredients you're going to need because we're going to start off by making our own dressing, which would be great to bring with the previous recipe. So I poured in some olive oil, some apple cider vinegar, some honey, some Dijon mustard, a garlic clove, salt and pepper, and then at the last minute I remembered I like to add orange juice into the mix as well. So once I've made my dressing, I am covering the top with some saran wrap because I actually lost the lid to this. Classy! And I'm shaking it up, but this works perfectly fine as well. Ooh, yeah. All right, so moving on to the salad, I'm taking a whole head of romaine and I'm chopping it up, putting it in my little bowl. Then I'm taking some spring onions, dicing those up as well and putting those over the top of the salad. Then I'm taking half of an apple and cutting the apple into little chunks and putting that in the salad as well. Then I'm taking some black American walnuts. I don't know what black American walnuts are, but these were at Sprouts. Adding some goat cheese and bringing my dressing.
Salad? It's not for bunnies. This is not your salad, okay? Alright guys, so that brings us to the end of this video. As usual, I will be reading and trolling through all of the comments. Someone actually asked in my last video, like in the comment section, if I see everyone's comments. And while I can't sit here and say with like complete certainty that I see everyone's comments, I wouldn't actually be surprised if I did because I spend so much time throughout the day on my phone scrolling through all of the comments. So your comments, they're not only being seen, but they're also helping to direct this conversation. Also, feel free to use the hashtag HowToBeHappyJanuary online. Jump into conversations on Twitter or Instagram. We're still talking about it over on Facebook too, but it's not really a hashtag thing. Post your favorite healthy recipes, your favorite quotes, blog posts that were really encouraging to you. Find a prayer buddy like I talked about in the last video, and just use that as a way to connect with other people that are having the same conversation this month. I also scroll through that hashtag throughout the day, and it's just been so cool to see everyone connect in a really positive way. So yeah, that is all. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I love you guys. Bye.